Hello, Internet. Welcome to my channel. Last year I left my home of 20 plus years in my little RAV4 and started out on my journey. I had it tuned up before I left because of the high mileage. It's a Toyota, I should be good. I quickly ran out of room and sleeping in the front seat was not ideal. After 5 months, it was pretty rough and 2 mechanics in one day, not affiliated with each other, recommended I trade in my car because of the rust rot. The gas tank was even falling out under the carriage from all the Midwest rust. Ideally, I would have loved a Sprinter van. The size difference alone is telling, but I couldn't afford one. Yet. Checking the marketplace, I found a bus. The first one did not suit. However, I found one up by Seattle on Whidbey Island. I knew nothing about the island except for that movie Double Jeopardy. Ashley Judd rocked in that. I had to take a ferry over to the island, something I had never done before. And this was the bus I had come to see. It was in pretty good condition, and I enjoyed driving it. Going with my gut instinct, I bought it, and the previous owner followed me back to the mainland to park it at a hotel where I booked a couple of nights. Just look at the size difference. Needs a little work. Getting rid of the seats, exchanging the front seats was a lot of work, let me tell you. Then I had to live in it a while as I saved money for insulation and the build. Emptying everything out, I was fortunate that the U-Haul center near where I was staying allowed me to work in front of the unit I rented. I say rented when actually I got a month free just for paying for insurance. I thought it would take me 3, maybe 4 days. Was I wrong? It was recommended to me that I leave the rubber and carpet in for extra insulation. So I built on top of that. I laid down the 1x1 inch wood to hold up my floor, and now in retrospect, I wish I had put in more of those 1x1s, but this was a learning process. I decided to use foam board that I could cut to fit in between the 1-inch pieces of wood that would be holding up my floor. Make certain that your cutter is sharp, because those little pieces of styrofoam get everywhere. I also had to fill the holes that were from the seats that were bolted through the bed of the bus with silicone. Fortunately, I did get the wood that I was nailing down as my floor for free. These are all old pallets. I was grateful for the ones I got that were already cut, because when I ran out and had to cut my own, finding those pallets was not fun, much less cutting them. Yes, I was living in there while I was building. I had to clean it up and remove sawdust every day. I had to do it in sections because I have a bad back, and it really was painful, but it was beautiful to see each section getting done. You do have to be careful about what you use for a sawhorse, though. I hope this doesn't affect my vacuum. I stopped every day at the car wash to vacuum up all the sawdust. I originally wanted to use the sawdust as filler in between the cracks, but that didn't turn out too well and didn't look too good, so I used wood filler, and I spent a couple of days doing that with lots of breaks for my back. The next step was supposed to be just sanding things. I decided to use my little palm sander, which was absolutely useless. I realized I needed either a commercial sander or a belt sander. Well, I tried the commercial sander and nothing was working. When I finally found a source to plug into, which was again at the U-Haul place, thanks a lot to those people, the pads, the sandpaper, would rip up on every little nick, any little nail that was still up, so I spent a lot of time countersinking nails. What I found worked the best, and which I wanted to use originally but had been talked out of, was the belt sander. I went through a lot of sandpaper as I learned how to use one of these, since I had never done that before. Finally, I got to stain the wood. Now, I'd never stained anything like this before, maybe dips and dabs, but I wish I hadn't let the gal at the store talk me into deck stain. I should have used an interior. I should have also been wiping off the majority of the stain, leaving just the wood look. I may redo this someday, but don't hold your breath. I also had to do this in multiple stages. I'd already gotten the free desk, and there was a free dresser which I was able to put in the storage unit, but moving stuff around and waiting for things to dry, I was grateful when I got to the polyurethane, because I knew that would at least protect the floor. You could really tell the division between where I'd already coated it and the spots that were not done. Make sure you wear gloves when you're using chemicals, because that skin sloughed off for weeks. Still, it's the final result that matters. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please ring the bell, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe.